In the vast silence of space, where time bends and light whispers secrets older than existence itself, humanity stands on the brink of discovery. Billions of years ago, a civilization thrived in the cosmos, advanced beyond our wildest dreams. Their legacy? A signal buried deep within the fabric of space-time, waiting for someone to hear it. But what happens when we answer? What truths lie hidden in the echoes they left behind? Prepare yourself for an odyssey across galaxies, dimensions, and millennia as we decode Cosmic Whispers Dash. This is not just science fiction. This is humanity's rendezvous with destiny. The year was 2087, and humanity had reached a pinnacle of technological achievement that once seemed impossible. Space exploration no longer belonged solely to governments or corporations, but had become a shared endeavor of global curiosity. Orbiting observatories scanned distant corners of the universe with unprecedented precision, while quantum computers processed data streams so complex they would have overwhelmed earlier generations. Amidst this golden age of discovery, something extraordinary happened. A faint yet unmistakable signal emerged from the void. It wasn't random noise or stellar interference. Its patterns were deliberate, almost musical in their cadence. Scientists at the International Deep Space Research Center, IDSRC, scrambled to analyze the transmission, unaware that their lives, and perhaps the fate of Earth itself, were about to change forever. At first glance, the signal appeared to be nothing more than static interspersed with rhythmic pulses. However, upon closer inspection, researchers identified mathematical sequences embedded within the waveform. These weren't natural phenomena like pulsars or quasars. They bore the unmistakable mark of intelligence. The team hypothesized that the message originated from a source billions of light years away, meaning it had traveled through time almost as long as the universe existed. As weeks turned into months, the IDSRC assembled a multidisciplinary task force comprising astrophysicists, linguists, cryptographers, and even philosophers. Each member brought unique expertise to decipher the enigmatic broadcast, though none could predict how profoundly it would alter their understanding of reality. While initial excitement rippled through academic circles, skepticism loomed large. Critics argued that interpreting such a distant communication risked anthropomorphizing alien thought processes. Others feared unintended consequences if humanity responded prematurely. Yet, amidst these debates, one undeniable truth anchored everyone's resolve. The signal represented contact, not with neighbors in our galaxy, but with beings who might have witnessed the dawn of creation itself. For the first time in history, humans weren't merely observers of cosmic grandeur, they were participants in a dialogue spanning eons. As the analysis progressed, scientists began isolating distinct layers within the signal. At its core lay a series of repeating numerical matrices, which suggested some form of universal language rooted in mathematics. Beyond these matrices, however, lay intricate overlays resembling harmonic frequencies akin to music. Some speculated that the ancients used sound, or rather, vibrations, as both art and information carrier. Others believed the harmonics encoded visual representations, much like holographic projections waiting to materialize under the right conditions. Regardless of interpretation, the complexity hinted at a level of sophistication far exceeding anything humanity had achieved. One breakthrough came unexpectedly during a routine simulation designed to test whether the signal could self-replicate under certain environmental parameters. When subjected to specific electromagnetic fields mimicking interstellar conditions, the waveform transformed. Patterns shifted, revealing secondary structures previously obscured by noise. This revelation sparked heated discussions among the research team. Was the signal adaptive, evolving over billions of years to remain intelligible despite distortions caused by cosmic expansion? Or did it contain nested messages intended for civilizations capable of unlocking them sequentially? Meanwhile, public interest grew exponentially. News outlets dubbed the phenomenon the Cosmic Symphony, fueling speculation ranging from divine intervention to warnings of impending doom. Conspiracy theories flourished online, with amateur sleuths claiming to decode fragments predicting everything from asteroid impacts to extraterrestrial invasions. Despite the chaos, the IDSRC maintained strict confidentiality, releasing only sanitized updates to prevent misinformation. Privately, however, even the most stoic scientists admitted feeling awestruck and slightly unnerved by the implications. If the signal truly came from an ancient civilization, then what happened to them? And why send a message now, after so many billions of years? Months stretched into a year, and the IDSRC unveiled its first major finding. The numerical matrices formed a three-dimensional map of the observable universe. Every known star system, nebula, and galactic cluster aligned perfectly within the model. More astonishingly, the map included regions beyond human detection, suggesting the creators possessed observational capabilities dwarfing current technology. Even more puzzling were anomalies scattered throughout the map, areas marked by irregular symbols that defied explanation. Were these locations significant to the ancients, or did they represent dangers best avoided? Linguists joined forces with mathematicians to tackle another layer of the puzzle, the harmonic frequencies. By applying Fourier transforms, they isolated tonal sequences corresponding to prime numbers. Further experimentation revealed that combining these tones produced geometric shapes reminiscent of sacred geometry revered by ancient Earth cultures. Could there be a connection between terrestrial mysticism and extraterrestrial wisdom? While tantalizing, such questions remained speculative without further evidence. Amidst these revelations, tensions simmered within the IDSRC. Some advocated for broadcasting a reply immediately, arguing that silence might convey indifference, or worse, hostility. Others cautioned against hasty action, pointing out humanity's lack of preparedness for potential repercussions. After all, responding meant revealing Earth's location to unknown entities whose motives remained shrouded in mystery. Ethical dilemmas compounded logistical challenges. Who spoke for humanity? Should the response reflect scientific rigor or cultural diversity? Could any single message encapsulate the essence of a species still grappling with its own divisions? Despite disagreements, consensus emerged around one principle: transparency. Humanity deserved to know the stakes involved. Thus, the IDSRC organized a global summit, inviting representatives from every nation, discipline, and belief system. Together, they debated protocols for crafting a reply while safeguarding Earth's interests. Meanwhile, work continued on decoding deeper levels of the signal, each new discovery adding urgency to the mission. Time ticked forward, inexorable as the stars themselves. The deeper the scientists delved into the signal, the more it revealed its labyrinthine complexity. Beneath the initial layers of mathematical matrices and harmonic frequencies lay encoded narratives, fragments of what appeared to be history, philosophy, and even art. These segments were unlike anything humanity had encountered before. They spoke not in words or images, but through abstract concepts translated into multidimensional patterns that required both logic and intuition to interpret. Each discovery felt like peeling back the skin of an onion, only to find another layer beneath, endlessly intricate and profound. One particularly enigmatic sequence stood out: a series of fractal-like structures pulsating with shifting colors when visualized using advanced rendering software. At first, researchers assumed these represented astronomical phenomena, perhaps constellations or galactic formations unknown to human science. But as they analyzed further, they realized the patterns conveyed something far more personal: a timeline. This wasn't just a map of the universe. It was a chronicle of existence itself, stretching from the Big Bang to some distant, cataclysmic endpoint yet unseen. Embedded within this timeline were markers corresponding to significant events: the formation of galaxies, the emergence of life on habitable planets, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Among those markers, one stood out starkly: Earth. Not explicitly labeled, but unmistakably represented by coordinates matching our solar system's position in the Milky Way. The realization sent shockwaves through the IDSRC team. For all their debates about whether humanity should respond, the ancients had already anticipated them. Their message wasn't random, it was directed, and it carried implications too vast to comprehend immediately. What did it mean to be singled out by beings who might have watched the birth of stars? Was this an invitation or a warning? As news of Earth's inclusion in the cosmic timeline leaked to the public, global reactions ranged from euphoria to panic. Religious leaders proclaimed divine providence, while skeptics dismissed the findings as overinterpretation. Conspiracy theorists seized upon the revelation, spinning tales of impending alien invasion or secret government collusion. Social media exploded with hashtags like #CosmicDestiny and #AlienWarning, reflecting humanity's collective struggle to make sense of its newfound place in the grand tapestry of existence. Governments scrambled to address growing unrest. Emergency sessions at the United Nations debated how to handle the information responsibly without causing mass hysteria. Some nations pushed for transparency, arguing that withholding details would erode trust. Others advocated secrecy, fearing societal collapse if people believed Earth faced existential threats. Meanwhile, grassroots movements sprang up worldwide, calling for unity under the banner of one planet, one voice. Citizens demanded representation in decisions regarding the signal, insisting that no single entity speak for all of humanity. Amidst the chaos, the IDSRC doubled down on its efforts to decode the remaining elements of the transmission. They discovered that certain sections of the signal contained instructions, not in language, but in principles. These weren't commands so much as blueprints, offering insights into technologies humanity could scarcely imagine. Concepts like energy manipulation, faster-than-light travel, and artificial ecosystems materialized from the data streams. The potential applications were staggering, promising solutions to Earth's most pressing problems: climate change, resource scarcity, disease. Yet each breakthrough came with ethical quandaries. Should humanity wield such power? Could it be trusted to use it wisely? Or would unlocking these secrets unleash consequences beyond control? By the second year of research, the IDSRC announced a groundbreaking development. The signal included what appeared to be a rudimentary form of communication protocol. Unlike traditional language, which relied on syntax and semantics, this system operated through shared experiences interpreted via neural interfaces. In essence, the ancients had devised a way to transmit thoughts directly into the minds of recipients capable of receiving them. To test this theory, volunteers underwent experimental procedures linking their brains to quantum processors designed to interface with the signal. The results were transformative and terrifying. Participants reported vivid visions of alien landscapes bathed in hues impossible to replicate on Earth, accompanied by emotions so intense they bordered on overwhelming. One volunteer described standing atop a crystalline mountain overlooking a city of floating spires, feeling simultaneously insignificant and infinite. Another recounted witnessing the death of a star, its light extinguishing in slow motion as waves of sorrow washed over them. While these experiences provided unparalleled glimpses into the ancients' world, they also raised unsettling questions. Were these memories genuine records of past events? Or were they simulations crafted to convey meaning in ways humans could grasp? Worse still, could prolonged exposure to the signal alter consciousness permanently? Despite the risks, the experiments yielded invaluable insights. Researchers identified recurring motifs across participants' accounts, themes of creation, destruction, and rebirth. It became clear that the ancients viewed existence as cyclical, governed by forces both beautiful and brutal. Their civilization, once flourishing across countless worlds, had succumbed to entropy, an inevitable fate awaiting all things. Yet rather than despair, their message exuded hope. By sharing their knowledge, they sought to ensure that others might avoid their mistakes, or perhaps carry their legacy forward. With mounting evidence pointing to the signal's instructional nature, the IDSRC shifted focus toward practical applications. Teams of engineers collaborated with physicists to reverse engineer the technological principles embedded within the transmission. Early successes included breakthroughs in energy storage and propulsion systems, hinting at the possibility of interstellar travel within decades rather than centuries. Environmental scientists developed prototypes for self-sustaining habitats capable of thriving in hostile environments, paving the way for colonization efforts on Mars and beyond. Medical researchers leveraged the signal's insights into biology to create treatments targeting genetic disorders previously considered incurable. Yet progress came at a cost. As nations raced to harness the ancients' gifts, geopolitical tensions escalated. Accusations of espionage and intellectual property theft poisoned international relations. Corporations vied for exclusive rights to exploit the newfound technologies, sparking lawsuits and protests. Activists warned of widening inequalities as wealthy elites monopolized advancements, leaving marginalized communities behind. Meanwhile, rogue actors attempted to weaponize aspects of the signal, raising fears of catastrophic misuse. Against this backdrop, ethical debates intensified. Philosophers argued that humanity risked losing its identity by adopting alien paradigms wholesale. Artists expressed concern that reliance on extraterrestrial methods would stifle creativity and cultural diversity. Even within the IDSRC, Dissent brewed among scientists torn between ambition and caution. Some urged caution, advocating for gradual integration of alien knowledge to minimize disruption. Others insisted that hesitation equated to squandering an opportunity to secure humanity's survival. As Earth grappled with the ramifications of the signal, another layer emerged, one darker and more ominous than any preceding it. Hidden within the harmonics lay dormant codes that activated only when subjected to specific stimuli. Once triggered, these codes unleashed cascading effects, disrupting electronic systems and inducing physiological symptoms in exposed individuals. Initial tests suggested the codes functioned as safeguards, designed to deter unauthorized access or misuse. However, their activation during routine experiments caused widespread alarm. One incident nearly ended in disaster. A lab in Tokyo inadvertently activated a code sequence while attempting to synthesize materials based on alien blueprints. Within minutes, equipment malfunctioned, releasing bursts of electromagnetic radiation that incapacitated staff and damaged nearby infrastructure. Similar incidents occurred elsewhere, prompting emergency shutdowns of facilities worldwide. Governments imposed strict regulations on signal-related research, mandating rigorous safety protocols and independent oversight. Public outcry mounted as stories of accidents circulated, fueling calls to abandon the project altogether. Despite setbacks, the IDSRC pressed on, convinced that understanding the safeguards held the key to unlocking the signal's full potential. Through painstaking analysis, researchers determined that the codes served dual purposes, protecting sensitive information and testing recipients' readiness to wield it responsibly. Each activation forced humanity to confront its limitations, forcing difficult choices about priorities and values. Slowly, painfully, lessons emerged. Cooperation replaced competition. Transparency supplanted secrecy. Unity became not just an ideal, but a necessity. As humanity adapted to the challenges posed by the signal, a new dimension of its content revealed itself. Art. Not art as humans understood it, paintings, sculptures, music, but expressions of pure thought rendered tangible through quantum fields. These creations defied categorization, existing simultaneously as sound, light, and emotion. When experienced, they evoked sensations indescribable in human terms, all bordering on terror, joy tinged with melancholy, wonder laced with grief. Art historians and neuroscientists worked together to analyze these artifacts, seeking clues about the ancients' culture and psychology. Patterns suggested a society deeply attuned to beauty and interconnectedness, valuing harmony above all else. Their work celebrated the ephemeral, capturing fleeting moments of existence with exquisite precision. Yet underlying this celebration lay an acute awareness of impermanence. Every piece hinted at loss, at the inevitability of endings. For many, engaging with the ancients' art proved transformative. It challenged preconceived notions of creativity and purpose, inspiring fresh perspectives on life and death. Musicians composed symphonies incorporating alien harmonics. Visual artists experimented with holographic techniques replicating unearthly forms. Writers penned poetry attempting to capture the ineffable. Across disciplines, creators embraced the unknown, channeling inspiration from the cosmos into expressions uniquely human. With time running short and tensions mounting, the IDSRC convened a special task force dedicated to crafting Earth's response to the signal. Comprised of linguists, ethicists, diplomats, and spiritual leaders, the group faced an unprecedented challenge, distilling the essence of humanity into a coherent message capable of traversing billions of light years. Every decision carried weight, knowing that the reply might define Earth's relationship with the ancients and potentially other civilizations for millennia to come. Initial drafts focused on conveying basic facts: Earth's location, biological makeup, technological achievements. But critics argued that such an approach reduced humanity to mere data points, stripping away nuance and soul. Others proposed including samples of human culture, music, literature, art, as proof of intellectual and emotional depth. Still, doubts lingered. Would the ancients recognize these offerings as meaningful? Or would they dismiss them as primitive attempts at mimicry? Ultimately, consensus coalesced around a hybrid approach. The final message combined scientific data with artistic expression, blending logic and emotion to reflect humanity's duality. Encoded within the transmission were recordings of natural sounds, the rustle of leaves, the crash of waves, the chirping of birds, alongside compositions by renowned musicians. Mathematical proofs accompanied philosophical musings, demonstrating humanity's capacity for reason and introspection. Images of cities, forests, and faces captured the diversity of Earth's inhabitants, emphasizing shared aspirations despite differences. Transmitting the response proved no less daunting than composing it. Engineers constructed a massive array of deep space antennas capable of focusing immense power into a narrow beam aimed at the signal's origin. Calculations accounted for relativistic effects, ensuring the message retained coherence over unimaginable distances. Timing mattered too. Launching the reply required precise alignment with celestial bodies to maximize range and accuracy. On the day of transmission, representatives from every nation gathered at the IDSRC headquarters to witness history unfold. Screens displayed real-time telemetry as the signal propagated outward, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams into the void. For a brief moment, divisions faded, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. Cheers erupted as confirmation arrived that the message had successfully entered interstellar space. Humanity had spoken, and now awaited an answer. But silence followed. Days turned into weeks, then months. Despite extensive monitoring, no reply came. Doubts crept in. Had the ancients received the message? Did they choose to ignore it? Or had they vanished entirely, leaving behind only echoes of their former glory? Just as hope began to wane, a new signal arrived. Not from the original source, but from multiple directions simultaneously. Analysis revealed it to be identical to the first, save for one crucial difference. Embedded within the transmission was Earth's response, altered slightly. The modifications suggested acknowledgement, as though the ancients had received and processed humanity's message. More astonishingly, additional layers of information accompanied the return signal, expanding on earlier revelations. These updates painted a fuller picture of the ancients' plight. Far from thriving, their civilization teetered on the brink of extinction, ravaged by internal strife and environmental collapse. Their plea for help took on renewed urgency, urging humanity to learn from their mistakes and forge a different path. Instructions detailed how to construct devices capable of stabilizing dying stars, terraforming barren planets, and preserving biodiversity. The implication was clear. Humanity held the tools to prevent similar catastrophes, if it acted wisely. Yet skepticism persisted. Some questioned whether the ancients truly existed or if the entire exchange constituted an elaborate simulation designed to manipulate humanity. Others speculated that responding further might trap Earth in a dependency cycle, relying on alien technology at the expense of innovation. Debates raged anew, pitting pragmatism against idealism. Undeterred, a coalition of scientists, activists, and visionaries championed a bold initiative, Project Legacy. Its goal was simple yet monumental: to implement the ancient solutions while fostering sustainable growth rooted in compassion and cooperation. Pilot programs launched worldwide, testing technologies derived from the signal in controlled environments. Early successes were modest but promising. A small desert town in North Africa became the first to harness alien-inspired energy systems, powering homes and farms without reliance on fossil fuels. In the Amazon rainforest, terraforming techniques revived degraded land, restoring ecosystems thought lost forever. As these projects expanded, their impact rippled outward. Cities redesigned themselves around principles of self-sufficiency, integrating vertical gardens, renewable energy grids, and waste recycling loops inspired by the ancients' blueprints. Corporations once resistant to change embraced sustainable practices, incentivized by both public pressure and the undeniable efficiency of alien-derived methods. Even global conflicts began to wane as nations collaborated on shared challenges, realizing that survival depended on unity rather than division. Simultaneously, cultural shifts reflected humanity's evolving mindset. Schools restructured curricula to emphasize critical thinking, creativity, and empathy, preparing students not just for careers, but for stewardship of the planet. Artists drew inspiration from the ancients' abstract expressions, creating works that transcended traditional boundaries and sparked conversations about identity and purpose. Spiritual leaders incorporated cosmic themes into sermons, encouraging followers to see themselves as part of a larger, interconnected whole. The phrase, "We are star stuff," became a rallying cry, symbolizing humanity's place in the universe and its responsibility to protect it. Yet beneath this progress simmered lingering questions. What had happened to the ancients? Had they succeeded in averting their own extinction, or had they perished despite their brilliance? Were there others out there, other civilizations grappling with similar struggles, or was Earth truly alone? These uncertainties fueled humanity's determination to push forward, driven by the hope that someday, somewhere, contact might be renewed. Decades passed, and humanity entered a new era of exploration. Armed with knowledge gleaned from the signal, engineers constructed vessels capable of traveling faster than light. Unlike earlier designs based purely on theoretical physics, these ships incorporated elements of the ancients' technology, blending human ingenuity with extraterrestrial innovation. The first mission targeted Proxima Centauri b, a rocky exoplanet orbiting the closest star system to Earth. Though deemed habitable based on preliminary scans, much remained unknown about its environment and potential inhabitants. The launch of EOS-, humanity's flagship interstellar vessel, marked a historic milestone. Thousands gathered at spaceports worldwide to witness the event, their faces illuminated by the fiery glow of rocket engines piercing the night sky. Inside the ship, a diverse crew of scientists, engineers, artists, and diplomats prepared for a journey that would span years, if not decades. Their mission was twofold: to establish a colony on Proxima Centauri b and to search for traces of the ancients who had sent the signal centuries ago. As EOS departed Earth's orbit, messages streamed in from every corner of the globe. Children drew pictures of stars and spaceships. Poets penned verses celebrating courage and curiosity. Leaders delivered speeches emphasizing unity and perseverance. For the first time in history, humanity felt like a single entity, a species united by a common goal. And though many aboard EOS knew they might never return home, they carried with them the hopes and dreams of billions. Years later, EOS arrived at Proxima Centauri b, only to discover a world vastly different from expectations. Initial scans revealed lush landscapes teeming with life, but not life as humans understood it. Bioluminescent forests stretched across continents, their trees emitting soft glows that illuminated the surface day and night. Rivers flowed with liquid metals, shimmering under twin suns that cast shifting patterns of light and shadow. Most astonishingly, structures dotted the horizon, towering spires and sprawling complexes that bore unmistakable resemblance to those described in participants' neural interface experiments back on Earth. Exploration teams ventured onto the planet's surface, equipped with advanced sensors and protective gear. As they approached the nearest structure, a sudden hum filled the air, resonating deep within their bones. The sound grew louder, accompanied by flashes of light emanating from the spires. Then, silence. Moments later, a holographic figure materialized before them, an apparition unlike anything they had encountered. It spoke not in words, but through waves of emotion and imagery, conveying a message both familiar and profound. "You have come far," it said, in essence, "but your journey is only beginning." The figure explained that the ancients had indeed perished, succumbing to forces they could neither control nor escape. Yet before their end, they encoded fragments of their consciousness into artifacts scattered throughout the galaxy, ensuring that their wisdom would endure. Proxima Centauri b was one such repository, designed to guide future civilizations toward enlightenment. The revelation struck the crew with awe and humility. Humanity had not been chosen arbitrarily. It had earned this moment through perseverance, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. With guidance from the ancients' legacy, the crew set about building a new home, a testament to resilience, adaptability, and hope. And so, as humanity took its first steps beyond the solar system, it did so not as conquerors or colonizers, but as stewards of a fragile, beautiful cosmos. The echoes of ancient stars continued to whisper, reminding us that we are part of something greater than ourselves, and that our story is still being written. Subscribe now to stay updated on humanity's journey among the stars. Together, let's explore the infinite possibilities of tomorrow.